Welcome to the Lawns and Life podcast, where DIYers go to get the tips and advice they need to have a great looking lawn. Well, hey there, lawn lovers. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Lawns and Life podcast, where we dive deep into the world of DIY lawn care. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned veteran looking to polish your skills, we have got something for everyone. In each episode, I break down simple, easy to understand topics that will empower you to achieve your dream lawn. My name is Devin. I'm the DIY lawn coach, and thank you so much for coming back for another week. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you've had a great week. I am just getting back as I'm recording this. We got back, I guess, 2 days ago from a cruise. Went down, took my family, wife and kids on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and it was amazing. It was just what the doctor ordered, exactly what I needed. We went down to the Bahamas, went to Nassau. We actually didn't get off the ship that day. We took advantage of some of the other travelers getting off and took advantage of a ship that was half full. So it was awesome. Just hung out by the pool, and then we spent a day at the sea. And then we went to Royal Caribbean has a private island called Coco Cay, and just spent the day at the beach. They have a water park, and it was phenomenal. You know, my wife is, a lot of people don't know this, but my wife is a travel agent. So if you're ever in the interest of, if we're a travel agent, send me an email. I'll hook you up with her, and she can help plan a trip for you. And it's kind of what she does, and she works from the home and does a tremendous job doing it. So huge thank you to my wife for putting that trip together. I just showed up, right? Like, she had everything ready to go. She just made sure I had my underwear packed and bathing suits and all that stuff. And other than that, man, I just kicked back and relaxed, had a great time. If you've never been on a cruise before, let me just tell you, they're awesome. When I was kind of getting into culinary, if you guys that don't know, I am a classically trained chef, and I wanted to work on a cruise ship. And so I'm just fascinated by how much food those guys put out and the quality of the food that they put out. And if you've never been on a Royal Caribbean cruise before, you know, it's probably one of the highlight of most cruises. But Royal Caribbean in particular does a great job of really focusing on the food, the quality, the made from scratch. They just do a fantastic job. So we were on the we were on the Utopia of the Seas. I'm sorry. We were on the Utopia of the Seas, which is the second largest ship in their fleet, and it is massive. Had a great time. I'm so glad to be back, though. Like I said, you know, all good things must come to an end, and so go back to work tomorrow. But hope you guys are doing well. I don't know if you're celebrating your spring break now, or if you've already celebrated your spring break, but hopefully you are also able to get away and enjoy some time with your friends and your family and relax. And, you know, we're kind of, as far as the lawn is concerned, we are now getting into the 80s. I was looking at the forecast, and things are going to start heating up here, and things are going to get much more difficult. We've been on easy street the last couple of weeks with our lawn. Not really a whole lot to be worried about. I'm not worried about bugs. I'm not worried about fungus. I don't have to worry about water. It's just mowing. It's actually really easy. But now that I've had a chance to get away and kind of recharge the batteries a little bit, I need it, because we're getting ready to go into the hardest period for our turf, and it's going to get tough. It's going to get hot. We're going to get sweaty. We're going to get nasty. But the lawn is looking great. So what do I have planned for the episode for this week? So I want to share with you guys 3 of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made in my 10, 15 years of taking care of my own lawn. Now, I've never had a lawn service before in my life. I've always taken care of my lawn by myself. And so I want to share with you guys 3 of the biggest mistakes that I've made. And one of them I continue to make, and I will probably make it again this year. So I'll share that with you. But I also, really quick, want to invite you guys to join my private Facebook group. You know, I have a private Facebook group called the DIY Lawn Coach Group. And it's private because I kind of want to monitor who's in the group and kind of help shield you guys from any maybe professionals. And I just don't want you guys to be sold. I want you to be able to ask a question or post something on there without fear of someone trying to get on there and sell you. And so please we're talking about the biggest mistakes that you make. If you have a question or need help with something, I was just reading a post someone had posted this morning about needing some help. It looks like he's having some issues with some dry spots and things like that. And so that's perfect. That's exactly why I have the group, is because I wish I had that when I first started, because a lot of times you just don't know where to turn or where to get advice. And I'm not saying that the people in the group may know everything, but maybe they're going through something similar or have gone through something similar that what you're going through and can offer advice and just give you a place to turn. And I didn't have that. And so having that group is phenomenal for that. And everybody there has been awesome. They're posting pictures of their lawn, and lawns are looking great, and it's just a great place to go. So if you are not part of that group, please search that on Facebook, join the group. We would love to have you. We're adding, 15, 20 people a week. I was going to say a week to the group. And it's just fantastic. And it's growing, and it's only as good as the group is only as good as the people who are there. So you guys that are there, keep posting, keep asking questions, because that's really what this is all about. And so part of that group, I have started a Lawn of the Month, and we're going to announce who the winner is of that at the end of the podcast. So make sure you stay tuned to that. And this month's winner knocked it out of the park. It's absolutely incredible what he has done with his lawn. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But as we always do, we have to do this week's Mindful Moment.
It can be hard to slow down and notice things in a busy world. Mindful Moments is where we pause for a moment to reflect on the here and now. After all, life is happening now. We simply need to take time to notice. These small yet profound experiences remind us that life is not about the destination, but the journey we take to get there.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of new people who are joining the podcast. And first of all, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot, you have a lot of choices when it comes to who you decide to watch. I've said this in previous episodes. The most valuable resource that we have is our time. And so the fact that you take time to listen, however you listen, whether you're in the car or at work or at the gym or mowing the grass, I really appreciate you listening. It means the world to me. And hopefully I can provide value to you with this podcast, because this is something that I loved to do. I love to put on Alan Haynes' podcast. I think it was called Yards Across America. And I just loved it. I wanted to consume anything and all things lawn care. And so I wanted to kind of recreate that, because I don't think there's a lot of people out there in the YouTube world that are doing this on a consistent basis. So hopefully you're enjoying it. If you do, and you're watching this on YouTube, take a second, hit that like button. That certainly helps me out. And then also please consider subscribing. That obviously will help me. But today's mindful moment is a quote from our 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. And then this quote is something that I heard a long time ago, and it still resonates with me today. And so the quote is, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." Now, I absolutely love this quote, and for several reasons. And I was told this quote by a boss when I first started working as a chef. And for whatever reason, it's one of those that has really stuck with me for a very long time. And that's not only in my professional world, my 9 to 5 that I do, but I also try to implement this in my YouTube videos and in my interactions with you as a listener, whether you're on, like I said, that private Facebook group, or getting on camera and talking to a camera is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And trying to relay to that camera how much you care is incredibly hard, because sometimes it comes off a little non-personal, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so for those of you that don't know, the reason why I started this whole YouTube thing was because I want to help people. I want more people in this industry taking care of their lawns, and I want to remove the I want to remove the stigma or the hurdle or the fear or the boundary, or whatever you want to call it, from lawn care. And the reason why is because I was that person. And so I want to help that person, that me 15 years ago. And that goes back to having that Facebook group. Is that would have been a nice thing for me to have somewhere to go. But people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so that's something that I try to do, or try to relay in my videos and through my interactions with you as a viewer or as a listener. And truth be told, it doesn't matter how much you know. It's not that people don't care how much you know. It's that it really doesn't matter until people understand that your objective is to help them personally and not just make money off them or whatever your intentions are. And until you as a person overcome that boundary with that person, they're not really tuned into what you're doing. And so that's really what I have tried to create. So for you personally, if you're listening to this, take this quote to heart, and it will absolutely change your life. If you want to teach somebody something, or you want to become someone who people look at for knowledge or information, until they understand how much you care about them as an individual, it really doesn't matter. And so really quick, I was going to mention, we've got a lot of new people here on the podcast. My YouTube channel continues to grow every week. And so these mindful moments is something that we do every episode. And they're just a time for me and for you to just take a second and put our feet on the ground and just be mindful about where we are and what's going on, because I think that is truly paramount. We as a society are always in a hurry. We're always trying to do the next thing. And I am guilty of that just as much as the next guy. I am so caught up in the rat race, if you will. And so I think it's important that we take a second and have gratitude, have appreciation for where we are, and not worry so much about the future, and just worry about where we are. And because that's really all we can control. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the mindful moments just as much as I do, and maybe put them into practice into your own life. So that was this week's mindful moment, a quote from our 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt. So let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that I have made, or that I could come up with. Now, I've made a ton of mistakes. I just tried to narrow these down to 3 because I like to keep this podcast kind of concise. Concise, is that a word? I don't know if that is a word, but I want to keep it put together. I don't want to ramble on for hours. I want to keep the information somewhat entertaining as best as I can, that I know how, for you guys. And so again, these are not the only mistakes I make. I am 100% not perfect. I never claim to be perfect. And you guys know I am not a professional. I do this lawn care thing as a hobby for me. I just enjoy doing it. And I've now turned it into a YouTube channel. I've turned it into a little side business, helping coach other people, and just want to help people have a nice lawn. I don't want people to be intimidated by it. But I have absolutely made some big mistakes, and hopefully you listening to this, maybe you are currently making that mistake, or maybe you have already made these mistakes. And so really quick, before we kind of dive into this, if there's something that came to your mind when you're listening to this and you're watching this on YouTube, throw it down in the comment section. You never know how your mistake could potentially impact somebody else. Again, we talked about that private Facebook group, and that's really what that's there for, is to share ideas. And so use the comment section in this video to help that. If you never know how your mistake could potentially impact somebody else. And so again, I'll give you guys a tip, something that a strategy that I use every year to try to limit the same mistakes that I continually make. And for those of you that have my lawn plan, I have lawn plans, and at the very end of the lawn plan, I have a notes section. And the reason why I have that there is not because I want to say that I have more pages than I probably should in the plan, but it's there for a purpose. And the purpose is for you to write down your mistakes, to write down maybe a summary of how you felt the year went. And the reason why I like that, the reason why I feel like that's important is because lawn care as a whole is extremely repeatable. You do the same things every year about the same time. And so if you, and a year is a long time, right? And so if you think about this time next year, are you going to remember the moment that you said, hey, don't do this, or this is a mistake that I made. I don't want to make that mistake again. And so I use that note section to write down the mistake that I made. And that's why that's there. And so hopefully you guys maybe use the notes app on your phone, or use a piece of paper, or if you have a lawn journal, or if you use my plan. A tip for you is to write down the things that you want to change or do different next year, so that when you read that and you say, hey, don't do this, or make sure you do that. I just found that something that really has helped me over the years, because again, it's repeatable. You're going to do the same thing year in and year out. So let's get into the very first mistake. And again, this probably isn't the first mistake. It's one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started out in lawn care. And that was purchasing cheap grass seed. Now, you guys know how much of a big fan I am of the GCI Spreader Elite. That's what my lawn is in the front. It's 100% GCI Spreader Elite, a high-end. I don't think it's blue tag certified, but it really high-end cultivar selected, and it produces an absolutely beautiful turf. But when I first started out, I, like a lot of other people, went to the big box store. I went to Lowe's, I went to Home Depot, and I bought what was on the shelf. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that, there were high-end cultivars, or why grass seed, even back then, 15 years ago, was incredibly expensive. And so I was buying the Pennington, I think they called it like Pennington Smart Seed. And then they had the Scott's. I remember Scott's had just come out with this water smart coating, and that was going to help me not have to water as much and make sure that I get good germination. And I'm here to tell you today, and again, Scott's one of the largest. I think Pennington's one of the largest seed companies in the world. Scott's one of the largest lawn care companies in the world, if not the largest. And I'm not here to talk bad about their grass seed, but as a beginner, I didn't understand the value in a high-end grass seed and the quality difference that it produces in the turf, how it affects germination rates. And I mean, I'm sure those Penningtons and Scott's grass seeds, if done correctly, can produce a really nice turf. But generally speaking, some of the higher ends don't have they don't have the weed seeds and the noxious weeds and things like that. And I'm here to tell you that those Penningtons and those Scott's grass seeds, a lot of them are blended. They may have some older cultivars in them. And so I'm just here to tell you that one of the things that I probably regret, or the biggest mistake that I ever made when I first started out, was purchasing cheap grass seeds. So I would encourage you, if that's a cycle that you're in, give it a chance. Try buying a high quality grass seed and tell me that it doesn't make a difference. Something that I learned from Pete, and I don't know why it took Pete saying it over and over and over. As a chef, I know that if you want to make a great meal, you got to have great ingredients. And if you want to have a nice looking lawn, it starts with a great ingredient. And that first ingredient is your grass seed. All right, so on to mistake number 2. And this really isn't so much a mistake. It's just something that I wish I had learned or understood the concept a lot sooner than I did. It took me a long time to realize this. And that is to focus on your soil health and not just focus on the grass. And I'll tell you, there is no bigger mind shift for me that changed the overall impact or overall appearance of my lawn than learning to focus on the soil and improving the soil as opposed to just putting down fertilizer and trying to work on the grass. Once I started focusing on the soil, and I'm talking pH and adding biostimulants and those things that help change the composition of my soil, whether that's adding organic material, making sure I'm mulching my clippings and returning those back to, and I'm not just talking about putting products on the lawn. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about focusing on developing your soil, whether that, like I said, whether that's getting, returning your grass clippings and adding organic material or aerating the soil, things like that. I'm not talking about just adding products. Sure, the products I believe have helped me. Things like RGS, Humic 12, CK. To me, adding those over the course of 5 or 6 years have made a huge impact on the overall health and quality of my lawn. It's not solely those products. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a magic bullet. You're not just gonna put down RGS and then suddenly you're gonna have a nice lawn. You have to do all the other things too. But generally speaking, as an umbrella statement, focusing on just having nice grass will only get you nice grass. I want to have a nice soil, something that retains water, something that retains nutrients, something that takes less inputs to change. And again, it was more of a mind shift for me. So I wish I had done that sooner. But again, everybody's on their own spectrum, their own journey. And I just wish I had done that sooner because I would have been where I am now much sooner. And so I just want to share that second, again, not necessarily a mistake, but more just a mind shift. And the last mistake is probably the one that I make this one every year, no matter how hard I try. I try to avoid it. And I know that you guys probably struggle with it as well as I do. And it's something, again, that I did last year, and I made a note not to do it again this year. And chances are I'll probably end up doing it again. And it is over watering. Now, you guys know I have an irrigation system, and one of the biggest downfalls that come with an irrigation system is just how easy it is to water. And because it's just at your fingertips, right? And so you just push a button and water, you have water. But what I have to continually remind myself, again, this is a mistake that I will probably make again this year, is understanding how resilient tall fescue is. Now, right now, temperatures are great. The lawn is looking great. But as things kind of warm up, the grass is going to get under stress. And I don't want my beautiful lawn, I don't want anything to happen to it. And I know that it needs water. And so something I've tried syringing, and while that is a great technique for golf courses do that, I actually live on a golf course and you can hear the sprinklers syringing on a hot summer afternoon, but their turf is very short and mine is very tall. And so when I syringe, a lot of times I'll have issues with fungus. So I try to stay away from that. I take the approach of deep and infrequent because that's what always works for me. But at the end of the day, we have a cool season turf that is trying to survive, and I live in the transition zone. And so it's under a tremendous amount of stress with the 90-degree heat, no cloud cover, sun beating down on it. And, my baby's under attack. And so giving it water helps it kind of get through some of that heat and that stress. But every year, no doubt, at the end of the season, I think back and I go, I shouldn't water quite as much. The lawn doesn't need it. I mean, yes, it's under stress, but I could potentially reduce the amount of water. My lawn will be fine. And I'm reminded of this every year because I have friends and family that have lawns and they don't water during the summer. Yet at the end of the year, come October, once things start to cool off, their lawns bounce back. So again, I make a note of this every year, but it just seems like that's a mistake that I continually make. So those are my three, I guess, biggest mistakes that I've made throughout the year. So just take note of that. I mean, make sure you're buying quality grass seed. If you're just getting started, or maybe you've gotten in the cycle of the grass seed thing, and trust me when I say buy quality grass seed. Number two is just not understanding on how to focus on the soil health. And then number three, overwatering is something I'm really going to focus on this year. And hopefully you guys will help keep me grounded and not let me overwater. So really quick, before we get into announcing who the May lawn of the month is, I want to remind you guys that I have a collection of Freedom apparel and things, little koozies, yard signs that I made on my website, and that collection is 10% off if you use the code Freedom25. So I encourage you to go there and check out a shirt, check out a koozie. All of those things are a great way to support me, support the channel, and help me continue to grow and help more people. So if you've not been to my website and checked it out, there's a whole bunch of good stuff there. But I just want to let you know that as we get closer to Memorial Day, which is coming up right around the corner in May, that, my Freedom collection, I actually ordered a sleeveless tank top, and I know it's a little bit expensive, but I was blown away at the quality of the fabric. It's fantastic. The t-shirts there, again, I know $30 seems like a lot for a t-shirt, but I've got a couple guys that have bought some shirts, left some reviews, and they're as impressed with the quality of the shirt, of the cotton. I didn't go for a cheap material. I wanted something nice and that you would be proud to wear. Again, thank you so much for those of you that have bought something. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't, go check it out and save 10% and show your love of lawn care. Support the DIY Lawn Coach. It would mean the world to me. All right, so let's announce this month's lawn of the month for May. And this gentleman is absolutely knocking it out of the park. And he's, again, part of my private Facebook group. And he's killing it. And so this month's lawn of the month goes to Rusty Morg. Dude, you are absolutely killing it. I'm so proud of you and the work that you're done. I think he renovated his lawn. He's up in Maryland, and it's a pretty big size lawn. He does an incredible job of striping, and I need to maybe take some notes on him and what he's doing, because he's doing a great job. I think it's tall fescue. Uses a Mountain View seed blend, I think, with some tall fescue. He's got some rye mixed in, which is probably why it's such a beautiful color. But Rusty, congratulations to you. Really quick, leave a comment and just say congratulations to Rusty as well. He's doing a phenomenal job. And if you want to be part of the contest, when we go to do June, I'll send an announcement on the Facebook group for you guys to enter your lawn into that contest. And maybe you'll make it on the podcast. So congratulations, Rusty. I'm really proud of you, man. You're absolutely killing it. And keep up the great work. And thank you so much for not only watching, but also participating in this month's contest. So I hope you guys enjoy your week. I hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, enjoyed listening to me talk about some of the mistakes. I hope you enjoyed just kind of everything that we're doing here. It's been a great year. Everything is just going about as good as it can, but don't let your guard down. Things are going to change. It's going to get hot. Hopefully next week we'll talk about maybe some watering and things like that. So if you have an idea for a video, shoot me an email at thediylawncoach@gmail.com. Again, this is for you. So if you have a suggestion of a video, leave me a comment. Let me know. I want to help make content for you guys. Have a great week. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. My name is Devin. I'm the DIY Lawn Coach. I can't wait to see you in lawn.